Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly discussion series that's hosted by the Chaldean Cultural Center in collaboration with U of M Detroit Center, Unique Voices and Films, and CMN TV. I'm your host, am Nemu, and our guest today is Amira Daboul. Hello, Amira.
Hello.
And we are celebrating Culinary Arts Month, and you're the perfect person to interview for this month because you have authored a cookbook. It's called Awafi from Amira's Kitchen. Very beautiful book. You have it behind you, but I have a copy here myself. I'll put it up in a second. So Amira spent her early years in Tel Keppe, Iraq, raised by her grandparents amidst a bustling household of cousins. Her fondest memories revolve around her grandmother, Bata, whose passion for cooking inspired Amira from a young age. Under her guidance, alongside her mother and mother-in-law, Amira learned the art of preparing delicious Chaldean dishes, a tradition she cherishes deeply. In 1973, at the age of 16, Amira's family immigrated to Michigan, settling in the suburbs of Detroit. So, Amira, I have so many questions for you, but let's start with tell us about your grandmother and how she influenced you as a child.
My grandmother was very nice lady, very down to earth. She was simple, like to live simple. She lived simple life. And really I adore her for that. We She used to cook. Her kitchen was, she didn't hardly have any kitchen. She had remember, small kitchen and tiny stove, and we used to bring water to her because she was a little heavy. She couldn't move too fast. We were her helpers. We always, she said, and we always give her what she needs. Give me this, do this, this. That's how I watched her cooking, by being there by her side. And it was beautiful just to be in the village. The memory of the village, really, I can't get it out
Did,
of me because
did
I
you
my heart.
did you always end up staying in Tel Keppe before you came to the United
No,
States?
my parents moved to Baghdad, and my grandparents, they only had two daughters, my mom and my aunt, and they were very attached to my mom's kids because we were more always with her, with them, with her, with my grandfather and my grandma. My parents decided, my dad, to move to Baghdad to live better, to make better living for himself. And my grandfather and my grandma said, "What are you doing to us, taking all the kids from us?" So my mom and dad decided to leave me and my older sister with them while they went to the city. So me and my older sister lived with my grandparents in the winter, and in the summer we'll go to Baghdad and switch. My other brother and sisters will come to the village, and we go to the city. So we were between the two, village and the city living. And it
That's
was nice.
beautiful. I was born in Baghdad, and my
Yeah.
grandparents, and from both sides, they were from Tel Keppe. And I
Uh-huh.
remember visiting there, but I wish I would have spent more time as a child. I left when I was 9 years old, and I
Yeah.
didn't get to see it, but I was too young. But when I hear stories, and I visited Iraq in 2000 and did go to Tel Keppe, which
Uh-huh.
I absolutely loved it. But I wish I had more like you, traveled a little bit more back and forth.
Yeah, like I had both of them. I had the city living and I had the country
Both
living.
worlds, yeah, that's
For
beautiful.
both the worlds, yeah. And the country, the village, it was beautiful in the spring and summer. You know how they made the wheat. They used to make their own wheat, their own pokota, their own flour, and all that from the scratch. And we get involved with them because we were kids. We'll go help them. We go. It was nice. I wish the village stayed the way it was, but nothing stays the way when
And
you grow up.
also,
All the time they change.
yeah,
Nothing.
and when you're describing it right now, I'm thinking it's also like a very healthier way of living because people
All
are
everything organic. Everything was
organic.
fresh at the day, and they cooked the season. They cooked whatever they had. They didn't have a special, like, oh, I can make this all year long. Like now, we are so spoiled. We have so much available for us. Whenever we want it, whenever we need it, it's right there. There, no. This is the season. That's the vegetable you have. That's what you cook. That's the fruits you have. That's what you eat. It's not like you can have it anytime you want because when it grows, that's when you ate it.
So based on what my siblings told me, when
Mm-hmm.
they visited, and they said that their lifestyle was like my grandfather would go to church. I think he said
Uh-huh.
he did like at six
Every day.
every
Yes.
day, like twice
Every
a
day.
day,
Every
morning,
day. Yeah.
evening.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And they were so surprised when my grandmother made for breakfast bokota, and they
Oh,
said, and then my
that
my
I've never had pokota for breakfast.
well, and then my siblings, they were like thinking that that's kind of strange, and then my grandmother told my grandfather, you know what, they're from the city, they don't eat this kind of stuff. So I don't know if she was just
She
like,
was just no, they didn't. My grandma, she had chicken and she had cows,
okay.
and one cow actually, two cows, and every day she'll do fresh yogurt the night before from the cow, and then we'll collect all the eggs in the morning, and she'll make us eggs and yogurt. She'll make us pusro tomato. She'll make us. Eggs and meat and onions, mixed together. Actually, those are her recipes in the book. The eggs and parsley, she made that. That's when Saturday you can't eat meat on Friday. Till this day, I still don't eat Saturday meat because she never ate meat on Saturday. So Saturday morning was onions, parsley, and eggs.
Oh, yeah, that's what we
That
did.
was our
Everyone did
breakfast
that.
in the
That was our
morning.
breakfast too. So
Yeah,
you didn't eat meat on
on
Saturday?
Saturday for Mother Mary. It's Mother Mary's day.
Okay,
So she
interesting.
treasured Mother Mary and she prayed for her a lot. She never ate. So her and my mom, my brother and I, we still don't eat meat on Saturday. We learn it from her.
So tell us something. What would you say is one of the best lessons that she taught you? You know what? It could be about cooking, or it could be just about life.
Humble, humble. She was so happy with herself, so what is the word I want to use? Like simple. She didn't want too much. She really was down to earth. She went to church. She didn't care about clothes, about the house, about furniture. All she cared about her family, her grandkids. She was there for us whenever we needed her. She was more family, more simple, down to earth lady. I don't. I really miss her.
You
And
know, I think like the description that you're given. So we started a program called Digital Storytelling, where we interview Chaldeans
uh-huh.
about their stories, and we started with the elderly. You know, I think every single one of them mentioned something about how simple life was. And
Simple, and they appreciate it. They appreciate the simple life. Like even when she came to United States, she lived here like 25 years, and she still was simple. She didn't care her clothes. She'll wear same dress. I'm like, grandma, let's make you no. And she had one style. She was a big lady, like I told you. She goes that way. I don't care if I gain weight, lose weight. This fits. And she won't change her style.
you know, our ancestors, one thing I do love about them, I remember when I used to take my mom to the doctors,
Yeah,
she was like 62 years old, let's say.
yeah.
And they'd say, "How old is she?" And she's like, "Tell them I'm 65." I'm like, "Mom, you're 62." She go, "Oh, what's the difference?" They
Hey, yeah,
were
they
that
didn't care.
not on a physical level, that wasn't like their priority.
Yeah,
And
no,
they worked from the heart. They did everything. They were incredibly courageous,
yes, yeah.
incredibly
They were
resourceful,
so humble. That's the word
very
I wanted to
wise, and
use.
very, very
Yeah,
wise. I swear,
yeah,
some of the
wise.
things, like
Yeah,
when I think what the messages they left behind,
yeah.
they resonate and they're so true. If you live long enough, you'll see that what they said is so important.
It's so yeah, and simple. Like she didn't care about eating leftovers. She'll eat leftovers. She didn't waste anything. Nothing was wasted for them. Everything had treasure. They meant something to them. It was not easy. It was nice life. They had a beautiful life. I mean, we're too spoiled.
What when you came here, so with you specifically with regards to cooking, when you came here, how did you adapt in the United States the methods that you learned using, a Western kitchen,
It was so
using
much easier.
ingredients? It was easier, right?
It
What
was
was
much easier.
much
Yeah,
easier?
yeah.
How about like
I
finding the
didn't cook that
ingredients?
much with my mom, and my mom really, and my mom too. She the one who taught us because she needed help in the kitchen more, or in the city. she had more availability. Her kitchen was better. She had more equipment. My mom was, her kitchen was very nice in the in the city. So we helped her in the kitchen. When I got older, when I moved to the city with her, she she taught me hand on how to do things one to one. That's most of the thing I learned from my mom when I was in the city with her in Baghdad. But when I came to United States, I worked the first 2 years. I didn't help my mom in the kitchen. I got married. I lived with my mother-in-law. She used to cook all the time. She loved cooking. My mother-in-law loved cooking and baking. That was her thing. And when then I had my kids and I didn't work anymore, I was home with her and I started helping her more. And she was amazed how I knew how to do things. She's like,
Yeah, there's so tell us about the story how she was so impressed with you making
oh,
kibbe.
could be your potato chop. She was so impressed. Like, okay, she goes, let's make kube barab. I'm like, okay. My mom wouldn't trust me, only roll. You know, she'll tell me just roll and clean up behind us. And my mother-in-law, she's like, no, you do the stacking. You know, when you make kibbe, it's layers. The first layer, and then you do the meat, and then you bring the other empty layer flat, put it on top of it, and press it. If you don't press it right and take all the air out of that, when you boil it, it's going to come apart. So that's a gentle move. And my mother-in-law said, you do that. I'm like, Nana, I've never done this. I mean, when I help my mom, I always roll, and you do that. No, no, you'll be fine. You'll do okay. She was impressed when how I took over, and I really did it. I'm making my good actually.
She probably thought, what a lucky
I know. She's like, "Who told you? Look at that! Look how you were doing better than I do." She goes, "You're doing it better than me."
yeah, well,
She was more the baker, my mother-in-law, than the cook. She
well,
was
she was
more,
obviously lucky to have you, but at the same
yeah,
time,
yeah.
it seems like she gave you that confidence, like, you know
She
what, just
did. She really
go
did,
ahead
Karen. She
and take
did.
over, kind of.
Yeah, she really. I was shocked, and I went upstairs when we were done and called my mom. Guess what I did today? And my mom was laughing. She goes, "You did?" She goes, "She let you do that?" I said, "Yeah," and I did them all. She goes, "You did?" She was so proud.
Wow.
She was so proud.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
know that you say, because I was trying to tell you that earlier. I'm going through your cookbook, which I have too, by the way. I know it's behind you, but it's
yeah.
such a
I know. I keep
beautiful,
moving. Sorry.
such a seriously
Yeah.
beautiful
Thank you. Thank you. Took
cover.
a lot of hard work to get
Yeah,
it
of
where I
course,
want
it was
it.
a lot of hard work. I know. I mean, I'm an author of, I- but I write. I just deal with words. The kind of design and like
I
pictures
know.
and stuff. That's a very elaborate book.
I
So
took all the pictures. I took all the pictures. I did
wow.
everything. Me and my graphic designer, I drove her crazy. I really thank her for her patience with me because I wanted it how I wanted it, you know?
Right.
And
Well,
yeah,
you know what? But it ended up being, it's worth it. It's
it's
worth
worth
it.
it.
It's
Yeah,
really worth it.
it is.
So
Yeah.
I was telling you, and you said, no, it's easy. And I know that some of the dishes are easier than others, but like the
Yeah.
one that you were just mentioning can be, it's not. It's
It can be the
elaborate.
hard one. That's one thing you leave to the last to learn how to do that one.
Okay. Okay. Good.
But
Well,
you know
I've
what?
been
It's not too
trying.
bad, really. If you follow really the way I wrote the recipes,
Yeah.
because my helper, I know you're going to ask me that question, who wrote it with me, she's Jewish
Mhm.
and she does not cook. She knows nothing. So when I wrote my own recipes at first before me and her, I do nails at Salon Edge, and she's my client, and she's English teacher. She's very, very smart lady. And we were talking, and she said, let me see what you're writing. So I gave her my recipes the way I wrote them. She said, no, 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 no. Let me help you. I said, really? You're going to help me? She goes, yeah, I'll help you. So she took over writing the recipes. She made sure every sentence you understand step by step what are you doing, why are you doing it, and how you do it to make sure everything is going to come out right because she doesn't know how to cook, especially our recipes. She doesn't know what they are, how to do them. She wrote them. Me and her sat over and over each recipe. We wrote it. She wouldn't let go till it's perfectly. She understood how to make it. What I'm saying, understand every word of it. And then at the end, she said, "Now I can make this, but I am not going to make it." Every recipe. That was her
So wait a
comment.
minute. What an interesting collaboration. So
It
this
is.
woman who's non-Chaldean
No, Jewish.
interest to help
Yes,
you on your recipe book.
yes,
You
yes.
were the cook. She was not. She's an English
An
teacher.
English teacher. Yeah, yeah.
I'm speechless about that because those are the best kind of
The best kind of
projects.
friends, really. She's still with me now. She wants me to write another one. She goes, now I can do it. Let's move on. Let's do it. She wants
Yeah,
me to
it's
write another one so she can write it. She wants to
you know,
do it.
and
Yeah.
and that I was gonna say in the process, she's taking in all this information by helping you. Whenever like
Yeah, she
I
said
know
it helped her a
somebody
lot. Yeah.
I know somebody who's translating a book from Arabic to English,
Yeah.
and he wanted to do the project himself because he said this is how he's going to learn by
Yeah.
translating the book. He's Chaldean, and it's about like Chaldean history. So he
Yeah.
really wanted to, by doing it himself, this is how he would learn. So,
Learn. Yeah.
anyways, collaborations are always, always wonderful.
Wonderful. I
Um,
mean, yeah.
and but for you to get to the for even creating a book. I mean, it's one thing, most Chaldean women, they do, like, I love to cook, but I don't do it as often as I like, or I don't do it as elaborate of dishes that I see, like my sisters,
Uh-huh.
my in-laws. I'm always the one, they'll bring in the more fancy
DJ.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like telling my husband to bring pizza, like, oh, I'm running
Yeah.
out of time
That's
for you.
okay. Yeah, it's okay. It's
But I
okay.
do
Yeah.
have such an appreciation for it, and I've made the elaborate foods, and they remind me so much of when, especially the women in my family would gather when my mom was around and
Yeah, we'll
cook
make things
together.
together. That's with our cooking, baking, like kuleche for Christmas.
Hmm.
It brings us so much together. My sisters and I and my mom. We
Yeah,
go from each week. We do one day. We pick a day for that person's kuleche. We all get together. We make them together. So it brings us together. Brings family. Cooking brings families
yeah.
together.
Cooking.
Baking brings family together. What do you do when you invite someone over? What do you say first thing? What do you want to eat? What should I
Yeah,
make you to eat?
yeah.
You don't just tell them come over for
Right.
no reason. Always there's food involved in everything.
There's such hospitality
Hospitality,
included, and it
especially
comes
the
from the
Chaldeans.
heart.
The
Yeah.
Chaldeans have really, they love to feed people.
Yes, yes.
Really. We're all like that. We're all like that. Whoever comes to our house, without even warning, we can make them food. Or
Right.
we can
Love.
make a
It's
spread
like
for
a way
them.
to show love,
To show
and
love
yeah.
and welcoming and caring. We're the type of people, we welcome people. Chaldeans, they love people. They
But
love
and
company. They
what,
love, yeah.
and it's true how you're describing, but what had you take the next step? I mean, doing a book project is not easy, at all. It requires a lot of effort, concentration,
Yeah.
preparation. What inspired you to create this cookbook?
My kids, they wanted it recipes, like I told you, and I start writing them down for them. And then I'm like, wait a minute. One of my clients said she made a book for the family. Like she just wrote them and had it printed, in those printing companies. And at Christmas, she gave each child one. I'm like, oh, let me do that. But when I get
Is that
into it,
so? Yeah,
really,
but it's still like it just feels like
it
you
made
need
me
to
more
be
like
even
I need
more.
to pass on my tradition to
Okay,
more just my kids.
that's
I
what
need to
I
pass it
really
on to my
felt. It's more
grandkids
than
and
that.
great grandkids.
Exactly.
I want to
Exactly.
leave something I can't leave, myself. This is something I'm going to leave. They can't take away from me or from nobody. My kids and great grandkids and great grandkids will have this in their home, and they'll always think of me and think of our tradition. And I don't want our tradition to die. I want it to be alive. I want them to talk about it. I want them to see it. I try to put as much as I can. And another thing is my mom, she's getting older, and she knows all the seasons when to make what recipe. Like we have ba'utha, we have rooted meat, we make takrat al-basra. We have the Palm Sunday, we make the bread for Palm Sunday, the yellow one, which is, I have it there. And she knows like every Sunday what's for, during the Lent, during every Friday. I'm like, you know what? I need to write them down. I keep every time, Mom, what do we do now? Which day? She'll call me. Oh, sambusake. When to do sambusake? When to do what? And I'm like, I gotta have this written down. Otherwise, my mom, if she passed away, I will lose it. And how I'm going to pass it on to my kids. So that's what really inspired me more to pass
Yeah.
down the tradition to the.
It's like the root of it is there's a service involved in the fact that you're keeping the heritage, the
Yes,
culinary heritage alive
I
through it.
loved, I enjoyed doing it. I really enjoyed. I'm really happy I did it. I'm happy with it. Yeah.
And what would you say is like some of the distinctions between Middle Eastern Arabic food versus Chaldean? Is there anything that's truly more designated to Chaldeans, or it seems like a lot of the foods overlap?
I think it's overlap. I think it's tradition like Chaldean, Tel Keppe. It's made from people came from Turkey, from they were all over when the war and then the religion, where they're settled there. So everybody brought their own tradition with them, and they put them together and they made them according to what they have available: the spices, the vegetable, the grains, the flour. So they create out of the recipe they brought with them, they create their own recipes what they had available in the village. That's the difference. Was when they were more simple, they didn't have too much. Most of the stuff they have to create themselves and grow the wheat, to grow the everything to make it from the scratch. The gurgur, they made it themselves. The pokoto, they made it. They used to make it. I remember as a little girl going, borrowing, eating we call it's like corn. Before you make gurgur, you boil the wheat and then they dry it. So we used to eat it when it was fresh. We'll go with the bowl for the people they were doing it. They'll give us some and eat it. It was delicious. I mean, that's how they did it. That's why we got dolma. It's everybody has it. Greek have it, Turkish, Iranian, everybody have dolma, but everybody's did it to what according what they have available.
Yeah, and there's like a difference a little bit. There's a difference
They're different
in
with
the
the
way
spices they
exactly
use, like
the
with the
vegetable they
vegetables they
stuff
use.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, like Greek put a lot of parsley and stuff, garlic. We don't do that. We don't. We do a lot of meat because they had cows. They had a lot of meat, beef available for them. They raise cows in their homes, so they use a lot of beef in Tel Keppe and chicken. And we didn't have lamb that much. We did have, but not that much. Like Turkey, they have a lot of lamb. They use a lot of lamb. We didn't have that as much as Turkey. They had more cows, so that's why we're more beef. We use beef more than the lamb.
So, what advice would you give, especially like busy moms like myself?
Prepare ahead of
No,
time.
how
Prepare
do
ahead of
we just
time.
prepare ahead of time?
Plan your day. Plan your meals. Is really the best thing to do. What
Okay.
I'm going to make tomorrow. That or the something I used to do it when my kids were young and I worked. I had 4 kids. Monday and Tuesday was my day off. I will plan for the week. I'll go shop and prepare. Monday, Tuesday for the whole week. I have the meal ready for them for the whole week. Just plan ahead of time. Pick up a recipe you like. Go buy the ingredients and say this day I'm gonna leave this time for it. When you have the ingredients at home, it's easy to make it. When you have stuff
Did
at
you
home.
ever like get your kids involved,
Oh
or
yeah, they do. Oh, they love it.
they
They
like
oh
it? Yeah.
oh my grandkids too. Didn't you see them in the picture in the book? They're there. All my kids and
Oh, by
grandkids.
the way, I do love the first picture you said this book is dedicated to, and then you have a picture of your husband and all your
Yeah,
grandkids.
I know.
I thought that was very beautiful.
Yeah,
That was
he
very
helped me a lot. He's the one who helped me. He used to buy me all the stuff I want. And he was my shopper. I used to give him a list of stuff what I'm making this week, and he loved to shop. And especially when something he couldn't get, it was his mission. Oh, I got to get you this. He will go search all over and get it for me and to cook it. He was really he motivated me more to go for it, to cook. And I used to cook, it was just me and him at home. My kids all are married, they're not at home. So that's why I was first when I started writing the recipes, I was writing because I'm used to cooking for 30, 40 people when I have people over. And I was writing, cooking big. I'm like, wait a minute. People don't eat that much. I got to cut down like how me and Imad eat, 2 people. So I start rewriting all the recipes. I had to redo them for the small portion. So you can, the small portion is for 10 people. But use good leftover. You always leave them leftover because you can go smaller. Some dishes really you can go small, but you can have them leftover or share it with the family.
Well, I love how your husband participated in this.
He
That's
did.
wonderful. I mean,
He
I
did.
think
Yeah.
cooking, like you said, it brings the women together. But it
Yes.
also, like, there's a lot of the men. I interviewed last week a very well-known chef who had many restaurants and won many
Yeah.
awards. And he's a male, obviously, but my son, I was telling him, who's 15, has taken such an interest in cooking.
It's good. Yeah.
So yeah, I let him. When he first started, it was a little bit chaotic
I
because
know. I know.
I looked at the kitchen. I said,
I
"Wait a
know. I
minute!
know.
Part of cooking is cleaning." So, but I do appreciate, and I know that it's just very healthy for us to interact with food to be
It's
able to
relaxing. It's mind
very
like
relax. It is
with
a
me
stress
when I'm
reliever.
down, when I'm not, something going like I want to relax. I don't want to think. I don't want to worry about things. I cook or I bake. It takes everything out of your mind. You concentrate on that food because I'm really into making it taste good, come out good. So if you put your heart and soul in it and your love, you're passing it. You when the people eat it, they love it. They know there's love in there. There is you really put your heart and soul in it. That's what makes the food taste good. Like my nieces and nephews, they love my food. Amira, you're the best cook. It's because they know how I cook it from love, and I give it to them from love. That's that's what brings family together. That's what it is about, family.
So, Amira, I don't want to forget before the interview is almost gonna our time is gonna be almost up, but where can people, like, your book, by the way, it's available at the Chaldean Cultural Center. So if people want
Babylon,
a copy,
Ashtar, CK, Amira's my website, amira'skitchen.com. You can
okay.
order from there too.
Oh, you
And
can order. Okay, perfect. Then that's probably the easiest way
yeah,
because
you can order from
yeah,
Amira's.
because people, it's harder for them to sometimes drive, and people are watching us from all
Yeah,
over.
and you can come to Salon Edge. I have it there with me. You can call me. I mean, I have it in my car all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I know. I'm trying to do it in Amazon, and my kids don't want to.
Oh, well, but it is available on your website, so
It
it is
is. Yeah.
available for people to
Yes.
connect with.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
with a couple of minutes left, what are some last words that you would give to our community in general about just, for them to experience our traditional culinary arts?
Keep our tradition, please. Pass it on to your kids and grandkids. Don't, whatever you have in your family, it's your tradition. Don't let it go. Pass it on to your kids and grandkids. I learned my lesson from my client. They always come and say, "Oh, I didn't save my grandma's this, my mom's this, my aunt this." Save them, pass it on. Don't let go. Families is important, tradition is important. Keep Tel Keppe, keep Chaldeans alive, keep our memories alive. Please pass it on to your kids and grandkids and great grandkids. Hopefully, they'll have it too.
I love it, Amira. I totally believe in that. I do it in a different way, but you know what? We all have ways.
We have ways to
That
do it.
there's
Doesn't
and you know what? It's all fulfilling, no matter
Yes.
how you do
How
it.
you do it. You don't
A
have to do it through
personal,
cooking. You don't have to do it through anything. Just
anyway,
bring families together and your kids.
yes,
It's the
yes,
best thing.
and you know what? It's so fulfilling. It's very personally fulfilling.
It
So
is. And the kids love it, the grandkids love it when you bring them together. Bring them together. Pass on your tradition. Tell them stories. Whatever story you have, your childhood. Tell them whatever you grew up. It doesn't have to be Tel Keppe. It's nice for them to know how you were, how you
that's
grew
right.
up.
This is for everybody.
For everybody. For
Anybody from any
everybody.
country. Yeah,
In the
but
country, any place you, anybody. It's
well,
really,
You
Yeah.
created a very beautiful thing.
Thank
So,
you.
this is a very thing for, to keep a legacy for yourself and for the community. We thank
Thank
you
you.
very much for this interview.
Thank you. I'm
I
glad.
love
Thank you.
talking to you. I always get so inspired to go in the kitchen right after. Let's see.
I
what-
know. There's a lot of easy recipes there. You don't have to do the
Yeah.
hard ones.
No,
So
I'm
there is
gonna have
really.
fun with this.
Mhm.
I'll have fun
Yeah.
with it. I want
Thank
you
you
to
so
know.
much for having me.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate
It
it.
was
Thank you
fun.
for
Thank you, Amira.
putting
Good
the
luck
effort
for
and
your
all the
future
work.
projects, okay?
I'm sorry.
Good luck with your future
Oh,
projects.
thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I know I'm trying to work on it this summer now. In the winter, I'll do more.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you so
everyone,
much.
for watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you.